you know why they have longevity? Because nobody else has beef. And I think people are waiting for something else to kind of focus on because they're like, okay, everybody's done with this beef.
Yeah.
But there's nothing else that's replacing it.
Yeah.
And because there's no replacement, people don't have a choice but to kind of revert back to it.
And I guess that's why there was that excitement when Big Zulu released that song and was dissing everyone.
Because now we're thinking, like, something else.
New.
Yes.
But even in that moment,
songs.
somehow it became about no matter how much we try to escape this thing, somehow we want to come back to the same, you know what I'm saying? What's good? What's good? What's happening, beautiful people? Welcome to another amazing episode of the POPcast right here on the YouTube. It's your boy Muchi for one, baby. Please say the baby.
Oh, should we really?
Yeah, just say the baby, okay? And of course, we're back again. I just want to say, first of all, hi, my co-host.
Oh, thanks. I'm here too.
In case you don't notice her.
I mean, thanks for having me, Sipochis. I'm here too.
I've got my two guests with me here today. And of course, on my right, we have Mante joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm well, and you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
You guys have a pretty space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really nice.
It's very obvious, like, who's feeling now? I need to discuss real issues. Halfway through the show, I'll be saying, fuck this, man.
Real chats.
Only.
And shout out to everybody. I just want to say, last couple of episodes, I know a lot of people have been saying a lot of things online, but most importantly, I think the POPcast Goes To episode that we had was very well received. You guys had a lot of positive energy around that, and a lot of we want more of this type of content. So we definitely want to let you guys know that that is a segment that we're going to keep bringing back onto the channel, and you guys must keep watch out for that. And of course, let us know about all the other concerts happening anywhere around the country where you want us to come through to your province, to your shows, to your neighborhood, and we'll see if we can connect. Please keep giving us those comments, much appreciated. Straight into some beautiful news of what's been happening this past week. Starting again with concerts, as I've just said, Conference is now heading to Kaapstad.
Wow.
Cape Town.
Amazing. I think after after a few years of building in Joburg, I know they took a break during the pandemic, but they've answered the call of taking Conference on the road and is now headed to Cape Town. And I think that's a beautiful thing, right?
Makes sense. I think the festival, the concert, whatever it is big enough to be taken to other cities. And I think I can imagine if you're a lover of SA hip hop and you're watching one of the biggest hip hop shows in South Africa happen in another city, you hope that it comes to where you are.
Absolutely.
So it makes sense.
Especially with the history of hip hop in Cape Town. I think they're definitely deserving of Cotton Fest. And big ups to the team for continuing, especially after Ricky. I think this is something he wanted in plan as well. So big ups to them for continuing his legacy and by taking it to the rest of the country.
Absolutely. I think, again, on the POPcast Goes To episode, we just speak to Bravo LaRue, and he was saying, you guys in Joburg keep saying hip hop is dead, hip hop is dead. Us here in Cape Town, we don't know what you guys are talking about. It's alive and well, and the movement is very, very strong. So I'm glad that they're going out there and showing Cape Town love, and I hope we see a lot of new faces on the stage down there. You know what I'm saying? When it's up here in Joburg, it's the entire hip hop industry pretty much. So I hope the same energy is taken down to Cape Town, and it's a big, beautiful festival, like, you know, like a Daisy's type hip hop fest down there, which Cape Town I think hasn't had in a very long time.
They even have the space and aesthetic for that.
You know what I mean? Something.
I actually need to go. Yeah, it sounds like
the only thing that's stressing me now is the flights. Because why are we paying 10 million to go to Cape Town?
Let me tell you something. You have to think, am I going to Cape Town or am I going to Mauritius? Like, what am I paying for?
You know what? Everyone's always like, don't drive to Cape Town. I've never done it. But I think with the right crowd and the right things and a driver, if flights are a problem,
we're jumping in a
car.
Get
a bus, you and your cool friends, get your nice things in the car. Get a driver. No one of you should be driving.
Yes, please.
Get a driver. I think have a stop place where you're going to sleep for a night and then continue driving. I think it's doable.
Yeah, it is doable if you have the energy. But that 10,000 return, not gonna make it. Sorry, not for me.
It'll be cool to see some people take advantage of taking some Joburg people down there via maybe bus trips. You know what I'm saying? And like a good, safe way to travel. Bus. If people are gonna go in groups, then maybe in group travel packages. I think an opportunity presents itself for some people to maybe make some money and get some camp-like stuff.
It's just a couple of hours on the road, you won't die.
Oh, yeah, about it.
Going down is cool. Coming back.
That's the situation. My boys, I remember went to Daisy's.
Not your shine, the sun is here. The hangover, stomach,
You don't want to talk to anyone. You know what I'm saying? My boys, I remember went to Daisy this one time about 4 years ago, and they decided to drive down. There was 4 of them, and I was like, nah, actually,
drive all the way to Darling.
So they drove all the way there, and it was beautiful. Their pictures, they're stopping everywhere. Hey, it's a nice day. Coming back and saying, I don't want to talk to anyone in this vehicle. No one must touch me. Your own friends.
That's what I'm saying. Get a driver. You guys can nap, wake up, stop somewhere, get pictures, have a drink, continue the drive. Just don't be the people that are driving, because you will come back not speaking to your friends. It's too long a drive.
Because now you're fighting about who's driving. But it was your turn. But you only did 1 hour.
Yeah.
Don't argue over the driving. Just
and one last thing I'll say, if you're going to plan a road trip, the best way to do it, don't just plan the trip there. Plan the trip back. People love to plan a trip there. They're like, we're going to stop here and then do this and then that, because we're all energetic. On the way back, they're like, we're just going to go home.
Yeah.
That's a big mistake. Plan your trip back with the same excitement. And say, we're going to stop here. We're going to do that. No one plans the trip back. You only plan the trip. They were going to Devon in July. And then when we come back, everyone's just like, don't talk to me. Don't stop here. Why are we stopping? You know what I mean? It just fights the entire way because nobody has a plan of what's going to happen when we come back.
Yeah.
Plan your trip back with the exact same enthusiasm, and you might find that actually it's not so bad because then you have something to look forward to. You know what I mean? Otherwise, not just your house. That's when the problem comes in.
Straight to your house.
You know what I mean? You get into the studio, kick down, you're like, I can't wait to get home. My brother, you have many problems in front of you.
That time you've still got 7 hours to go.
So it's very, very important. So yeah, excited to see what Cotton Fest in Cape Town looks like. Shout out to the team. Back home again, and another international collaboration on the way. We've been speaking about a few of them. Drip this time, collaborating with Fila, the legendary brand, to create a new sneaker. And I just want to say with this, actually, with the same news, Shesha, it's just a sneaker store in case you don't know, which is mostly, I think, Joburg and Cape Town only. Yeah. But they also collaborated with Jordan to release their own sneaker, Jordan 2. So I want to say this news and just congratulations
Jordan
to both.
Shesha.
Yeah, so there's a Jordan Shesha collaboration. As you know, Jordan collaborates with many people and brands as well. So there was a Jordan Shesha collaboration of Jordan 2. And now, of course, Drip with Fila, which is amazing news, I think.
Yeah, I think it's dope, especially for the South African sneaker market. Everybody knows, like, if you're in South Africa, well, a lot of people are obviously sneakerheads. What I do also want to highlight, I love the fact that Nike also put out a post about resellers. Yeah. Because, wow, Nias Bulala, resales need to stop. If the shoe is 2,000 Rand, keep it at 2,000 Rand. I'm not paying 6,000 Rand because you bought it.
It's 3 weeks because you guys keep them in business. Everyone is always crying about it, but they sell those sneakers and do it again.
Have you ever stood in line for a shoe, Mansu?
I didn't even buy myself these sneakers. I'm not doing it. I'm just like, I like those sneakers, then I walk away.
Yeah.
The sneaker reseller market has me by the balls, boy. It owns my life.
What's the most you've ever paid? The
most I've paid for a sneaker?
I'm sure.
8K.
Imagine. What? Imagine.
I paid 8K for a sneaker. I don't even want to talk about it. What? But I wanted it. I made a decision. I looked at it. I closed my eyes. No, these are decisions you must take at 2 a.m.
Yes.
We're like, I have to tag and try. And thing comes and goes. Bitches. And then it took a while for the shoe to come. While the shoe is coming, you're sitting there going,
is it lost? Is it on the way? Did I get scammed?
8,000. At the time, it was more than my rent.
Imagine.
8,000 Rand is crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I'm not paying more than 2.5 for a sneaker.
And they can go up to anything 75,000, 200,000, depending on how rare a sneaker is, or how much you want it. Remember, we put the value on these things. So depending on how bad things are, it could go, retail of it could be 2,000 Rand. But depending on how much people want it, it could go anything. Literally, there's no ceiling of how expensive some sneakers could be.
But the Drip Fila collab,
I'm guessing that won't be 8,000 Rand. Otherwise,
it be 8,000 Rand. Because you know the kids love Drip. My neighbors are like, oh, the new Drip, December's coming.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this one is going to be the one that my cousin's going to have to do.
What I like about them is they're always so innovative. Drip is always kind of looking for the next thing that they're trying to do. Obviously, the collaborations that they've done with Cassper, obviously now signing a deal with AKA. And the fact that they're getting into like the township market, I think is very smart of what they're doing. Getting into the fragrances was also something that's never been done before. Yep. So I like that the team is thinking outside the box and they're constantly trying to break barriers. You never miss them.
If you're driving on the M1 all the way until Pretoria, every 500 meters, it's a drip billboard. Drip. So you'll never miss them. They're putting themselves out there.
And people on Twitter sometimes forget what's actually going on the ground. I think if you're stuck online, you always ask yourself how these things are moving. People always asking questions like, how is this guy so successful? How is this you? let me tell you, just go outside.
Exactly.
Go to where the kids are so you can see these kids rocking these shoes.
Exactly.
Every time you go to an event, there's a lot of teenagers around them. Maybe just go to the mall where teenagers hang out so you can actually see, or go to the hood so you can see kids.
I think we live on social media, we think that's real life.
It's that smart ass thing of being online, thinking only the things that are high end are the ones that are moving. Only the things that you see in movies or in big productions are the things that are moving. And that's just not the case. But I mean, it's dope to see this collaboration between local brands and international brands as well, especially an old school brand like Fila, you know what I'm saying? I think it shows promise, like we just mentioned the Jordan Shesha brand, that okay, there's a lot of potential for guys locally.
It's a
and for brands, you can develop your stuff and it can be seen. I mean, who knows? You might see Drip being shown in one of those complex sneaker shows one day, and they're also in one of those glass cases in New York in big like Soulmate or whatever. So big up to them, man. They keep, like you say, progressing and doing more and more. And like I said, the kids love them and people are supporting. So what can we do? Another local collaboration that we didn't expect that has nothing to do with sneakers. Our favorite homegirl, Elaine.
Who else for favorites?
Is our favorite homegirl. I think ever since Lemmy was a guest, it seems Elaine is on our lips a lot. And if you watched the last episode or even the last few episodes, Elaine has been releasing a few tracks out, and we've had a few things to say about them. Not bad, but just, Elaine's trying to reposition herself and but it seems like nothing is like really connecting the way that she wants to.
Can I tell you, I was not aware that she's trying to reposition herself until I saw the clip with Focalistic. Because she's just always been, clarity is clear to see. Like, that's who she is, and I love her, and I absolutely enjoy seeing her even live. And then I saw the clip, and I was like, because I didn't see the progression of the repositioning.
Okay.
It was just like, what's happening?
I think my language is actually a bit confusing. When we say trying to reposition, we're trying to regain, rather, that's what I'm saying. The repositioning is new to all of us now. She was trying to regain favor, of course, and trying to come back as the Elaine that we know and love. And what we've been seeing as a problem is that hasn't been connected. And we've been speculating that maybe she used to try something new. And now it seems she has tried something completely new. Yes, she's a Pretoria girl. And here she is now, of course, saying, let me just go and talk to the guy, Foca, who's hot right now. He's no Pretoria homeboy. Let's try to get in the studio and do something. And now it is a from hot to cold type situation, from left to right. It's a 180 10 of what we expected.
We're not too sure.
And we're not too
you know
sure.
what? And I don't want people to go back and say, we're hating. No, if you've watched previous episodes, we've said we love Elaine.
Yes.
We just trying to understand where she's going so we can jump on the bandwagon. We are 100% Elaine fans. I'm an Elaine fan, 100%. And I think sometimes things can get tricky. Like sometimes clips are posted on Twitter from what we've done here on the podcast. And it's like, guys, if you watch the whole episode, you don't really know exactly what we're talking about, do you? So this could be case in point of the same thing where Elaine posted a clip. Maybe we're not too sure because we're hearing it from a phone recording as opposed to what it's going to sound like.
When it's mastered and playing on the radio.
So I'm giving it a chance. But a lot of people on social media, are all saying that maybe she should have gone to Kabza, maybe she should have gone to Calvin Momo. It could have swung in a different direction.
Like I'm a piano fundi, right? Like when I heard that clip, firstly, I thought, okay, I can listen to this. And then social media is Satan. And then now the ones that know what should be happening and how it should sound, then pick at it. And now you hear it differently. But for me, I probably am hearing it the way a lot of other people were hearing it at first. Yes, now I'm like, I don't know if she should have gone this route. There's a lot of artists I think shouldn't go. Don't move from what you're doing. Collaborate with other artists that do something around what it is that you're doing. I don't think move completely from what you're doing. But after hearing it again, after picking up from everyone else that knows I'm a piano better than me, I was like, maybe she could have just not done it.
Just stay away.
I've just not done it because you know what the thing is? It's very dangerous to do things that are too far off from your brand. And then you compromise what people already know about you.
You know what? I'm open to people trying new things. I'm an advocate for if you're a creative and you feel like you can step yourself into a different space and you can add some flavor to it. 100% go and do it. However, I think it's also sometimes in the execution. That's where it becomes like, okay, but what are you doing? Because we need to also buy into what's in your head. Because if you're giving us something new, we need to understand it so we can accept it. And now people are finding it hard to accept it because they're just like, but which one? The lyrics were also a bit...
But it's the point I'm making that we already know you as this. And don't forget, Elaine might be hugely successful now, but she's had a very short time in the industry. I think she was supposed to solidify her space and her place and say, this is my sound and this is what I do in a couple of years from now, and then experiment with other things. I think you have to have convinced people that this is who I am to experiment.
And I have to now stick to my argument as well, because I still believe it. I've been edging on Elaine to try new things. You know what I'm saying? I've spoken a lot about it, and I've said, and it was inevitable, I felt like. The way that her music that she was releasing, the R&B stuff, the new stuff, is not hitting the same. I knew that something was going to change. She's going to try something that wants to connect. And eventually I knew that she would try using her vocals in another genre, whether it's collaborating with a hip hop artist, or in this case, collaborating either with house and finally Amapiano, which was the easy W. You know, people are saying that when your things aren't going right, try Amapiano, see what's hard and what's not. And now you're right about the execution. That's what it comes down to. Is the song hot? At the end of the day, that's what people care about, right? Doesn't matter what you do. Like, is this a hot song? We can't tell because it's a clip which they deliberately dropped, and they knew that they were going to create conversation. And maybe they're trying to gain perspective by seeing what people are going to say. I'm saying, let's drop this work in progress and see what people are saying. Are they going to completely hate on it? Are they going to show love? Are they going to be excited? But now people are talking about Elaine more than they have in the past 2 years. I'm sure the conversation around her this past week has been more. So already she's back in the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Now she's top of mind. And now they're like, maybe there is a track that they're sitting on. They're like, we have a hot track already. Let's just get them talking. Let's get them debating. Let's get them at odds with each other. And then let's drop the track that we know is going to destroy. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they have that track in the cut. And this is just simple marketing of getting the people talking online.
I'm just waiting. I'm at a point where I'm just waiting for the final product, and then we can make a decision from there. Because anything can be misconstrued from a clip.
Sure, of course. I mean? And of course, the clip never gives you the sound quality, all these things.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that are missing from just the clip online. Like I said, they knew what they were doing. They went live, of course, started playing music. So like I said, I think it's, they may have something. It may even just sound better. And I hope it does.
Well, they might even go back and rework it after
after
social media.
People are like, okay, we don't like what we're hearing right now. So don't release this. Give us something else. Clearly, this one we don't like it. But go back, scandalous sound.
Because I think what everyone's saying also is everyone's got the same sentiment. They don't hate Elaine.
Exactly.
They're all just like, sister, we love you. Please do something that we can support. This one, not the one. Maybe go back, fix it a bit, and then try again. I think that's what everyone's
I hope she sees it like that, because also she's young.
Of course.
You don't want to see so much. When people were in love with you and now they're like, what are you doing? It can't be nice.
Absolutely. And again, we go back to the fact that she definitely needs to reintroduce herself to the South African market. And people are like, okay, who are you? You know what I'm saying? And people want to fall in love with her. So she has to have some sort of character. And I knew that Amapiano or some popular genre was going to be the thing that she was going to like, guys, I'm just a young girl who wants to have fun and you know what I'm saying? And dabble in music. And if she does it right, people won't reject, I think. If the music, like I said, if the final product is hot, people are going to be like, okay, here's a market. Then again, the balance of how she still makes her R&B music will be up to her. Because now you don't want to turn into a piano artist, but if you're going to dabble in it as a vocalist.
And there's record labels behind all these things that probably said,
go
just
for
one.
it. So there's no mistake happening with Elaine. There's some well thought out plan. Let's hope it's just well executed. At the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
All right. And then of course, staying with some other local news, back and forth between our favorites, Cassper and AKA. I say our favorites literally mean the opposite. Literally mean the opposite of the most boring beef known to man. Continues to grow new legs for some weird reason.
Do you know why I love them? Because they continue to grow new legs. We are watching it happen in real time. They always find a way every year. And they're like, we're gonna make the calendar. You know what? I'm not like saying I'm enjoying the beef, but I'm shocked at how long it's been. I'm shook that they still have the Mega World. What are they called? My brother's part of that stand.
Legacy.
They still have Legacy and Casper's people. Casper's people. At odds and fighting all the time. And for me, that's flipping growing legs for days because people are still fighting about you guys.
Yeah, man.
You have to give them some credit.
But also I don't know. It's just.
I mean, if there's an award for longevity, sharp. But outside of that, please, it's a lot.
And of course, now it's revolving around there's some doctored image of Cass, aka holding a Biliato bottle, and then Cassper trolling him saying he's the new ambassador.
Yes.
Of course.
It's also because AKA trolled him at Makufi.
Of course.
That's where it started.
No, of course. So there's a back and forth is there. It's very well documented. Whatever one is doing is reacting to what the other one's doing.
Yeah.
Whatever is poking the other one because maybe the other one is too quiet. Yeah. So there's no innocent person here, and there's no 100% guilty person.
Yeah.
They're both. It's a back and forth. It's a never-ending back and forth. Yo.
But you could just send one to a corner, the other one to a corner. Just shut up. Like,
put them in a ring. Settlers.
I mean,
They're trying to get in the ring, but it seems they don't want to settle it because they think that will settle it. But I feel like that won't. I feel like they can get in the ring, Cassper can beat AKA can beat Cassper, and it just won't stop.
really
I don't think it will ever stop. Because clearly somebody says, these two, they sit together and they're like, yeah, I'm fine. Today it's going to be you.
They troll each other.
You the one, you must say this today and then I'll say something next week. And there's a calendar, you're right.
They just
there's a calendar.
each other.
You're up this week. It's some time for you to poke me that.
Don't truth.
It's
your turn.
And especially that because it will quiet down. It will literally quiet down.
Yeah.
And then somebody will say something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, like I said, I'm not a hater of the beef. I'm watching it like the Legacy and Cassper's people. I'm watching it in real time.
And then Jiggy, you see them play soccer together, high-fiving.
I mean,
just like, this happened literally a few months ago. In the middle of sorting each other at these mothers. Show about good sportsmanship. I was telling Diski. Everyone just sitting there going, who's being played here?
We are being played.
Dribbled.
We are being dribbled.
I promise you.
The
You
viewers.
guys are allowing to be dribbled. Just take it for what it is and enjoy it.
Ooh,
I think that's the thing. There's no enjoyment. We definitely wish we could enjoy it, but there's just nothing
But
left.
do you know why they have longevity? Because nobody else has beef. And I think people are waiting for something else to kind of focus on because they're like, okay, everybody's done with this beef.
Yeah.
But there's nothing else that's replacing it.
Yeah.
And because there's no replacement, people don't have a choice but to kind of revert back to it.
And I guess that's why there was that excitement when Big Zulu released that song and was dissing everyone.
Because now we're thinking,
like,
something else.
New.
Yes.
But even in
That's
that
not like your
moment,
songs.
somehow it became about no matter how much we try to escape this thing, somehow we always come back to the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just we can't seem to run away from these two guys. I need somebody to really beef.
Even that became about Cassper.
Yeah.
Like, I need somebody else to beef with Cassper or AKA.
No.
Somebody to be like, Cassper, leave AKA alone. I want you. And then like really go after the guy.
No, I don't want them to get involved. Leave them alone. Leave Cassper to do his thing. He's got his concert. He must focus on Fila. He must sell tickets. AKA must work on his tour. He's touring the same. Leave them alone.
Yes.
There's other people in the game. There's so many other rappers for this beef thing. Why are we only concentrating on these two? We're giving them way too much money, too much clout for something so
Because
stupid.
fun. People like chaos.
Oh, sporegile, mansui.
And their fans don't that. That's what they know. We may be the people who just like general lovers of music.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Who are not like affiliated or care or who's the kids who are legacy, the kids who are, I don't know what Cassper's people are called. Tibepians. Those two camps, they don't tire. They do not
In
tire.
fact, if those two camps hear about this peacekeeping that I'm talking about,
please.
It's not even peacekeeping. I'm not saying they must bury the hatchet. No, I'm saying they must just leave each other alone. Sometimes you must know when it's over. It's just one eye. You say, I can't win this. I'm going home. And Elaine, please.
no, that's what's keeping the
I'm not saying they must be best friends.
legacy
They must just
alive.
leave each other alone.
Yeah.
It's I guess it's a never-ending story. Even as there's no conclusion to what we're talking about here, outside of the social commentary that exists around it, which is of course getting very.
However, I won't lie.
Boring.
I do think the trolling was very extremely boring.
Yeah.
But I do give a shout out to the Photoshop because I didn't see that one coming.
Well, it's pretty decent Photoshop.
I didn't see that one coming. I won't lie. So shout outs for that one.
But now, AKA saying that he might sue Cassper for using his image. I'm like, this is part of the boredom. This is part of the boredom.
Those are the new legs.
You know what I'm saying? The new legs,
Yes.
the league, not suing each other. It's a legal issue.
You can't make it a legal issue after you trolled him at Makufe. Take the trolling like a man. This was his hit back. Now let it go. The legal route I think is just unnecessary. You shouldn't have done that. Shout outs to Cassper for the Photoshop. I think I won't lie, I didn't expect it. So I think that's why I was like, okay, that's dope.
Yeah.
I guess in more beef news, going straight to America. Something else that bores me: the constant Nicki Minaj fighting the girls' beef.
Yeah.
Every week it's her. It's not her and Lato. It's her and Cardi B and very other girls. The who are those?
The City Girls.
The City Girls as well, or various other girls. As long as you're a girl who's in the music industry rapping, Nicki Minaj will find you somewhere and have some sort of beef. And now the conversation now is becoming, because no one can actually pinpoint what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? Because half the time Nicki is talking about two things at the same time. Her current beef with somebody and then how she's being treated in the industry. So you never know what her frustration actually lies. You know what I'm saying? Because she manages to attach her frustrations to one of the girls trolling her or her trolling one of the girls back. There's the whole Queen radio thing that she was doing, trying to adjust these things. It was very, very annoying to listen to. And then our conversation now is becoming, is Nicki really like, is she ruining part of our own legacy as a hood man in the industry? You know what I'm saying? Who's actually achieved so much, more than probably any other female rapper. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And more than most male rappers. You know what I'm saying? An actual she can rap. B, she's incredibly successful. And then there's this C part where she's also incredibly annoying for some reason. And it's like, what is her angle?
The only thing that came out of that for me was I didn't know who Leto was. I didn't know half the girls that she's trolling. So I was just like, I couldn't keep up because I don't know what's happening. I don't know what the beef is. But I did see a screenshot of her entering Doja Cat's Insta Live and saying Nicki, Queen of Rap.
Wow.
and then I think Doja Cat was playing a song or something. And then she says, it sounds amazing, Doja. And then Doja Cat ended the live. Like when she entered and said those things.
So I think I'm kind of making sense of this whole thing, and it's very sad for me because I'm a Nicki fan, but it is kind of killing her career. It's also killing her legacy. But I think what she's mad about is the fact that I think it's this Grammy thing. If I have to be honest, anytime anybody else gets nominated for a Grammy, she sits back and she's like, but
what about
me? What about my lifespan? Why is this the one accolade I haven't been able to achieve?
And if she spoke about it like that, then it would make sense because it really is a question mark, right? Yes. To say, she's had a very successful career. Why is she not? She doesn't have a Grammy. That doesn't make sense.
But that does not make sense for Nicki Minaj to not have a Grammy. Makes zero sense.
But if she had the conversation honestly like that and not tear the other girls down.
I think for her, she's trying to tear other people down because she's just like, these people
Where's my Grammy?
I'm the one who's supposed to be in the top, I'm not saying it's okay, but that's what she's doing. And it's sad because the direction she's taking with it is just, it's killing her legacy. And I think it's also gonna, if you think about it, even from a local perspective, you sit back and you're just like, but why would anybody want to do this to themselves? Because now, how are we supposed to respect you? Even going back to like the Cassper AKA thing, as much as you could sit back and be a Cassper fan or an AKA fan, at some point you're also just like, hey, but now I'm losing my love for this person because you're constantly badgering instead of giving me music. Your job is to be in studio, record the music, make a hit, leave other people alone.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
And you're right, this Grammy frustration has, and because they always tease her about it or troll her about it, you can see that it's starting to bother her. And she constantly brings it up. You know what I'm saying? Once again, she has. And I mean, Nicki doesn't have a Grammy. I think Drake has one Grammy. You know what I'm saying? People don't forget these things. There's artists who are like somehow always seem to get snubbed or unable. Nas didn't have a Grammy until recently. 2 years ago. His entire career at Nas. You know, literally one of the greatest lyricists of all time, and who's made many, many great albums, and is also a very successful guy. Did not have a Grammy until like somewhere during the pandemic, where he finally won one. So I'm saying sometimes it is one of those things where Nicki, I guess she's standing there and she's thinking as not just as Nicki, but as representing females, and hasn't had all this success, that she feels subbed in many ways, and not just not by a Grammy, but also the categories we put her in sometimes, because they're taking some of her music and put her in pop categories, and they're like, why are you guys putting me in pop music categories when you've never done this to A, B, and C? So some of her cries are genuine, and it's one of those situations where, you know, like a broken clock is right twice a day. When she makes sure that as annoying as she can be, she throws in some truth as well. I'm saying, it's like the whole Kanye West thing, where he's wrong a lot, but he's also right sometimes. And then people say the right thing, but forget all these other absolutely ridiculous things. You can't just say, because you told me it was 2:00 that day, but the other time you're talking absolute rubbish. That we can't, and your rubbish is weird and it's toxic. So people try to do that when they know they're talking nonsense. They throw in a little bit of truth and then try and throw people off. yeah, but Nikki is right though. Why is she getting snubbed?
Yeah.
But at the same time, why is she fighting people?
Yeah.
Both things can be true. You can
You
be
end up
both.
wasting time trying to figure out what's what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that whole that posturing where you convince people but also get them on your side by making them feel sorry for you about one thing is one of those.
It's feeling like old age creeping in.
It is at the end of the
Somewhat.
day. Now
Both
let's
Kanye and Nicki.
literally.
Like maybe they must just let it go, Nyana.
Somewhat.
Go and play with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something.
And hip hop is a young man's game, I always say.
Yeah.
It's for energetic people in their mid-20s. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you pass that stage, you look weird. 35, 40,
Now
arguing with
awkward.
children, everything.
That's why you must just go to concerts with your wife. Come
The
on
less you
stage,
say.
rap, and then go home.
And they always have weird views, especially the older they are. Then you start really thinking, this guy still thinks like an old man. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, your favorite rappers, your go-to, whatever, you don't want to hear their opinion on a lot of things. You don't. And they must be quiet. The ones that are quiet, they're not like they're smarter or whatever. They're smart for being quiet.
Yes.
But if they really told you what's going on in their minds, you'd be like, act like what Jay-Z.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That is actually very true.
You know what I'm saying? The way of thinking is very, very old. They come from a very old era. And even some of the new guys, when they get a little bit older, they can't really connect.
Yeah.
There just comes a time in your life where an era has passed you. And it's best for you not to talk too much about things that you're not a part of yourself.
Also, you must remember that some of us, your dads are probably the same age as Jay-Z. So
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
problematic nature. Jay-Z probably holds it as well.
Exactly.
Tricky.
Whatever it is that your dad thinks, Jay-Z thinks the same thing. Think about it. Yeah, your dad and Jay-Z, they have the same opinion on things. Yeah, these females.
These females.
Exactly. If you turn them around and start saying, like, these females aren't the same as they used to. The mentality has to do this now. It's best for them to just keep it. Even the ladies.
Yeah.
The older is, I'm telling you, you don't really want to
That's why,
know.
Barry, don't ever meet your idols.
I'm telling you. So it's a very, very big problem. That's what I'm saying. It's best for people sometimes to just be here. So they start talking. And the older they get, it's like, nah, man, I have to make this point.
No, you don't. Let it
Doing
go.
podcast tours everywhere you go. Whoever can give you a microphone in front of your face. And they do that because they know you're going to embarrass yourself.
Exactly.
And then you're thinking, we're about to get some views of this nigga. Just keep talking. Yeah, what did you say? Listen to this guy.
Yeah, it becomes problematic.
It's very, very problematic, man. But anyway, I hope we see less and less of people embarrassing themselves on the internet. I don't think we will, because that's the whole point of the internet, is for people to express themselves, even if they are wrong. But like I say, it's hard to see some of your heroes and people that you respect consistently embarrassing
I
themselves.
just wish it wasn't Nikki. I don't care for you much.
Yeah. And with Nikki,
Like, he's too far gone. I just feel like Nikki.
oh, of course, yeah, they're not in the same boat here in terms of like being problematic.
But she's working her way up. That's the problem. She's working her way up to Kanye's status, and that is what I'm worried about.
That's very small. And I guess it sucks again because you want to be an ambassador for the ladies. You know what I'm saying? To show them that, there's unity, whatever. Because women get attacked a lot about not being... Because the guys don't like each other, but no one cares about that.
Yeah.
As long as the biggest lady comes out and shows a little bit, she may even be right. The girls could be trolling her to some extent.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you're supposed to be spreading a little bit more love. Oh, exactly. You should be the one who's saying, everybody, you know what? Let me actually be quiet rather. If my opinions are always going to make me look like the angry older lady, maybe I should just focus on the
I
music
haven't
a
looked at
little
it that
bit.
way to say maybe she is getting trolled and we don't see that part of it.
Exactly. Because you look crazy when you're a little bit older as well sometimes. Like, hey, auntie, be quiet. And the kids know how to poke. They're like, you
And
watch
she
her.
knows, yeah.
The kids know how to poke sometimes and they keep quiet and they look innocent. Oh, because of their youthfulness, it looks like they're playful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But for someone who's a little bit older, it's like, yeah, you guys actually don't respect me.
But then she must learn when to let it go. Just let it go.
Yeah.
I know. We'll hope that she'll let it go. And of course, one thing we've had to let go this past week is the finale, episode 8 of season 1 of Rings of Power. Finally, we got to the end of this. It's been a moving train, eh?
Yeah.
But sometimes
Roller
it feels
coaster.
like it's been a roller coaster.
Well, you guys were talking about this before we started. I'm pretty sure people know what it is.
Yeah.
But quickly, like 2 seconds, what is it? What's happening?
All right. For those people who don't know, including Mansu,
Yes.
we'll say Rings of Power is a show on Amazon Prime, or Prime Video rather, where if you know the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the old Lord of the Rings, this is a storyline that takes place thousands of years before. So it follows the same not storyline, but it's written by J.R.R. Tolkien, the guy who wrote the Rings of Lord of the Rings. And this is just pretty much what happened 1,000 years before.
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel of the show
Like the
and the
House
movies.
of Dragons and the other one.
Exactly like that.
Okay.
So it's that same vibe. It's that same medieval vibe. Some people are about it. And every week we've been reviewing each episode on here. Shout out to the people at Prime Video for shouting at us. And we speak about it on Twitter as well every Thursday at 7 p.m. with a bunch of people who are into the show. Some are even part of the books as well. So there's an entire cult following around the show, and there's been a lot of debate around it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's actually one of the most expensive TV show ever made. So already it was very highly anticipated before its release. So there's a lot of talk about not just the show itself, but how it was made and its impact that it may have in future.
Yeah, man. And it's definitely been building up. I think for those who have been watching from episode 1, now we're finally on the finale, which dropped on Friday. And as I have been saying since the beginning, because everybody's been so impatient and, where are the battle scenes? Where is the storyline going? What's the point of the Harfoots? Episode 8 says, okay, guys,
come through.
I'm tying everything together. Let's go. And if you watched episode 8, you'll finally understand where everybody kind of places themselves and how it's going to lead into season 2. So we finally see where the Harfoots kind of fall in. Yeah. And I think it took a while, I have to admit, but it took a while, but we finally see the combination of the Harfoots and the Stranger, where the Stranger's made up with those 3, I don't know what to call them, the servants or whoever they are. And they meet up with the Stranger and they think he's Sauron when they immediately kind of meet up with him in the forest, and then only to kind of reveal a little bit later that no, he's actually not Sauron, he's actually Easter. And he's another star that had fallen that they were trying to, I don't know, I guess maybe move away from, because he's the good star and Sauron is rather the bad star. And I hate to say it, but Karabo was right.
But Halbrand.
Karabo was right about predicting that Halbrand is actually Sauron. So yes, this is a bit of a spoiler, but you've had since Friday to watch the episode. Anyway, so it has finally been revealed that Halbrand is Sauron at the end of the episode, and Galadriel, I think, is very sad, and she's shocked at how she has kind of led this person to where he is now, saved his life a couple of times. He offered for them to kind of be king and queen and being the Dark Lord and the Lady of Light. And she obviously declined that because she's just like, bro, I'm trying to kill you. What do you mean you want me to be your queen?
Absolutely.
Nah, bro.
She seems very tempted though.
Yeah, she was, a part of her was like, maybe.
Offering her this ring.
Maybe not. Which way are we going with this one?
But I feel like they don't give us a conclusion of what could happen in season 2. I mean, we know, if you know the entire story, you know exactly where Galadriel and where her alliances actually lie. But they do kind of leave a little bit of mystery. We go back to, they don't show us who Gandalf is, because now they're also trying to hint that the Stranger is actually Gandalf, or at least he's one of those wizards, you know what I'm saying? But one thing that they do hint at that is Gandalf, he does use a line when he's talking to Nori in that episode, where he says the exact same thing that Nori says to Pippin in Lord of the Rings, about when you're lost, just follow your nose, or something like that. It's literally word for word what Gandalf said. So they're trying to, they didn't tell us that he's Gandalf, but he says that in the books as well to reveal that he's Gandalf. So this is the only, I won't say cliffhanger, but still a little bit of mystery around who Gandalf might actually be. But everybody's kind of really convinced that, as the one with Halbrand a few episodes ago, this nigga is Sauron. They're like, this is Gandalf.
Yeah, and also we get to see that the rings are finally formed as well towards the end of episode 8. So the rings have been kind of created and I guess leading us into season 2. So all we have to do now is kind of just wait 2 years for the next season.
Absolutely. Now it was very...
I'm sold. I think I want to watch this.
Let me tell you something. In the space that we have on Thursdays on Twitter, we have a lot of guys. We're divided between people who just watched on Prime Video, and of course the people who also are very well read in the books. And the books are very, very intricate, and there's a lot of them. And people who are very familiar with the storyline always bring us these fights, always bring us these little caveats, so they're like, oh snap, I didn't realize this is what's going on. But of course, the contrast of that is that the viewer who has never read the books is supposed to have the same type of understanding. And they took a lot, it took a while in the series. Episode 8 had a lot of those aha moments, those okay, I get it, finally, kind of to satisfy the people who have never read the books and kind of put them on the same page so that they actually understand the storyline and say, okay, now season 2, this is what I can actually look forward to.
Should I start with the books or just get straight to the show?
If you really, really like to, I would say, actually, because you don't actually have to watch Lord of the Rings, You can actually
To
start
be fair,
with
I
Prime Video.
hadn't watched Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So I went straight into the series.
Okay.
And now that I have time, because now that the series is over, I'm gonna go back and watch Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
So I don't have the Lord of the Rings background. I just went straight into the series. And it was a little bit complicating in the beginning because you're still trying to figure out what's happening, who's this, who's that. And I will say you need a bit of patience in maybe say the first 2-3 episodes, because it's still kind of like placing things together, but everything kind of culminates towards the end.
Okay.
So I think you need the patience so that by the time you get to episodes 6, 7, and 8, it all makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Give it a
sorry.
bash. Are you a fan of shows like that?
I'm
Medieval?
generally not. I'm a serial rewatcher. I watch the same things. I watch very light, very surface. I don't like violence. I don't watch anything that's got.
It doesn't have a lot of violence, if I have to be honest.
But my thing is with era or like time shows, periodic shows, whatever.
Yeah.
I find that there's a lot of violence. So I watch MasterChef.
Okay.
No, I get it though. I'm also into watching a lot of things, and sometimes I'll be like, this week I just want to laugh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, especially if maybe you're having a heavy week or something like I don't want to have a heavy life and then a heavy watch.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying sometimes you just like I'm not in the mood or you're stressed
But I
out.
want to try it because that's generally not a genre that I watch. But I also just now felt very left out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think you could try it out.
Yeah.
I think if you're open to it, give it a bash. It's only 8 episodes. It is on Prime Video.
Yeah.
And we do have our Twitter space where we will be wrapping up the final episode finale on Thursday, 7 p.m. So make sure that you join us on Prime Video ZA. That's on Twitter, and just join in on the conversation just so we can wrap up how the season went through.
Yes, sir. And now we're going to go straight into this week's unpopular question before we wrap up with the music. So let's see what the question is. All right. This is the part where we may or may not get into trouble. I don't know.
And the beautiful thing about these questions, we don't even know the questions.
Yes.
Only the producer knows the questions.
Flip, you're only getting it now.
Only getting it now.
So we don't know what they are as well. So that's just to
you're
keep
gonna
it fair. So you pick. And you can go ahead and read it, in fact.
Oi. I want to change it.
No, you can't.
Okay, here's the question. Has the entertainment industry changed for the better or worse after COVID? Worst.
Wow. Okay. Why do you say that?
Money!
Oh,
No one
okay.
has money. No brands have money. People want favors. Salaries have gone to the dogs.
Yeah.
Flip, I got fired during COVID.
So
For me personally, COVID was the worst time for my mental health, but financially as well.
but now after?
No. We are restoring. We are floating. We haven't swam yet. We are floating. But I do also, something has to be said about how COVID also created a new wave of entertainers.
Yes.
What social media has done for, I know you guys have been doing this for years before the TikToks, right?
Yeah.
But what the trajectory of what TikTok has done for people's careers
Absolutely.
is absolutely insane. So it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Personally, shit time.
Yeah.
But for the entertainment industry as a whole, I think it's been great. The only thing is I think we've taken 10 steps back financially as an industry.
Yeah, I do think financially I'm gonna add on to that just a little bit, because now you get promoters who are still trying to pay the COVID price. And my brother, you're definitely back. We outside. Why are you still trying to pay me like we're in COVID? We don't have restrictions anymore. There's not only 10 people in the building. There's now 100 people in the building. So from that perspective, you gotta up the ante just a little bit. And you can't say you haven't recovered, because champagne is booming in the clouds. Please. You know what I mean? But I think the entertainment industry is, I think, at a better, because I do think COVID kind of forced people to reevaluate. I think it forced people to kind of sit back and be like, oh shit, things can actually just go left field and we're not even planning for it. And it had to force people to adjust and to adapt and to figure out other ways, like you mentioned. Diversify. Like you're saying, social media, TikTok, Instagram, a lot of careers were formed during that time and now are flourishing outside of COVID. So I think it's for the better, because we've got a whole host of new artists, we've got a whole host of a new genre that everybody's excited. Do you know what I mean? So from that perspective, definitely doing better. The money. Just give us the coins.
And just to pick up on that money part, that's across, well, whether it's music or even with creators. Because the same, a lot of money was taken out of the industry or just the economy in general. You know what I'm saying? So wherever you were looking, people were spending a little bit less, brands were spending a little bit less. And when it was times like start spending a little bit when things get back to normal, they're also very cautious. And like, how long can we hold on to these prices?
Yeah.
What I'm saying, you know what I'm
Also,
saying?
they're like, you've been taking it, come on, Steve.
Yeah, we'll be paying you R1. You're okay with it. You're gonna go back to R5 so quickly. Let's take another R1 and another one. You're like, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know a lot of things had to change. People had to adjust their prices and because the brands were adjusting how much their budgets were. And now we're getting back and people are starting to fight to get back to, you know what I'm saying, to what they feel they deserve. Another thing that I would say is that we're living in a very rapidly growing online world. You know what I'm saying? And I think that COVID taught a lot of, especially places like South Africa, where we're still catching up to the rest of the world in terms of like online presence and really making money online. COVID made a lot of people who were backtracking on that really get into the program. You know what I'm saying? Really understand that one day you actually could wake up and you can't go and play at a show anymore. But now you need to find out this diversifying your portfolio is like, what can I be in control of? Where if tomorrow if shit goes bust or things slow down, I can still have a few other angles. Yeah. People who used to say, not online, Instagram, what, I'm not about it. Came back and said, what's this TikTok what you're saying?
Which one? I interviewed Donovan last year on the radio, Goliath. And he was talking about how, because he's a comedian and he couldn't have shows, that's how he went like creative on Instagram and he was doing all those things and he ended up collaborating with the Netflixes and all these brands that he's been collaborating with. Because he also needed a creative outlet and he had never looked at social media as a creative outlet. He thought, tell them, buy tickets, I'll be at the show. And then you come there and he was like, he was put in a spot where he had to think, what can I use? He had been a creative director, has been working creatively in this industry. And he had to use those skills to survive COVID.
Absolutely. People have to get really, really smart about that. And you can see that there's still a lot of people who are catching on. Especially like you can speak about Donovan, for example, and then you can say how many other comedians have followed. Because you're supposed to have that thing. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be on stage and entertain, you must be able to entertain at home as well. You must be able to jump on. People started making shows on YouTube. People started making live shows and getting, everyone has to get creative. And not just temporarily. The thing about it, you have to accelerate your growth online and really get with the program so that you can be in full control of how you make money.
It was disappointing though to see a lot of comedians then leave online once the country opened.
All right.
Because really, we were starting to consume a lot of content just online. And even if it's open, not a lot of people are now, but comedy shows never really get like that much love. And I felt like if you're already on YouTube, just continue. Double it up with what you're already doing. But where should all these 10,000 people that watch every weekend go?
But I will tell you something about comedians, and I've seen that, because I used to complain a lot about, look, comedians in this country aren't that busy. They aren't making enough shows. We don't have enough comedy shows week on week where you can go and see all your favorite comedians. They aren't very big, popular comedic hubs where you're like, I know every Wednesday, I know every Thursday.
We don't have good comedy
especially all the big comedians, the guys who are very established, like, where are these guys? You know what I'm saying? Why aren't they performing everything? They've definitely changed their tune. A lot of them have started to do a lot more shows. I'm seeing a lot more visibility of all the comedians that I follow are doing a lot more shows every week. They're showing up at bars. They want to, and they're thinking I must travel as well and show my name up. A lot of people have gotten very comfortable with doing certain shows locally that they thought I have to take more control. I have to be more visible because now people, not just online, but I must actually be a actual working stand-up comedian.
But that's why I felt like online worked for them because we have a very poor comedy culture in South Africa. People don't go to comedy shows as much as we think. People don't go. It's the same as our movies culture. We don't go to cinema as much as we actually think. When you go to the movie theaters, you really...
But that's the thing is that...
when you have online, so when you have a comedian that can extend their skill online, you just like, don't ever drop it because you live in a country that doesn't even run to your shows.
But that's the thing is that I also think it's because they haven't cultivated the culture for people to want to run to those shows. Because there was a time, I remember when Ayanda was doing Comedy Wednesdays, those used to be packed once a month because people knew it existed because he did the marketing, he did the work, he got the comedians, he made sure that the people knew about it, he was creating a culture. So I think comedians themselves, like you're saying, need to create the culture and the shows. We will then buy the tickets. If I feel like I don't, me, myself, I've been in in entertainment for so long, I don't even know where to buy a ticket because there's just nothing that's being sold to me. But if I were to get a chance to say, okay, cool, on a Wednesday I'll go to a comedy show, because obviously Puza Thursday is a different day. But you know what I mean? Like, give me something to do on a different day of the week.
So I know that this is my day for this.
But if it's not done, I will also be like, I'm not gonna buy tickets because Mnyabi.
Mukhuri has PR'd themselves well to say
Yo!
Mondays.
Inside
Mondays
Mondays.
is mine. You're right. Comedy must position itself to say on Tuesdays in SA, comedy clubs are a thing.
Exactly.
And because we just need the one. We don't need a show of 20 people every time.
Yes.
I'm saying everyone is their own individual comedian.
Yes.
I'm saying maybe 1-2 guys can show up and do 15-20 minute slots. And I'm saying I've been seeing a lot more of that, and I know that it's a result of when they were at home, they didn't do shows. And they realized even when they were before that, they didn't do too many shows then either. Now they're getting more and more busy and actually establishing themselves. We need more comedy tours. We need more comedy shows. We have a lot of comedians in this country.
And funny ones.
Yeah.
Very funny.
So just the famous guys that you know, there's up and coming dudes. And you're going to go there and watch. I don't want to watch a Tabo that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? If he says he wants to get on stage, give this guy a chance.
And there's definitely a market, because if you're just on Twitter the whole day, you'll sit there laughing.
Exactly.
So clearly, just put the jokes together, they'll come.
And there's enough shit in this country. There's enough content.
Doesn't Kitchener still do that? That open, I think it was on Tuesdays, that open mic thing where...
Kitchener still does that. I think it's back. They do it, I think it's
that
Tuesdays.
Was dope. You find very funny people there. I mean, a lot of them die, but like...
Wow, that's okay.
No, like die on stage.
Yeah, it's good. As long as you have the courage to get on stage, there should be a place for you to be at. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot of people are doing stuff online, and shout out to them. Straight into some music news for this week. We had a few dope drops, I believe. Rolene has dropped Would You Like That? Which I personally thought was a pretty dope jam from Rolene.
Yes.
I'm happy to see her back out here active. What do you think of the track?
I dig Rolene. I want her to work a little bit harder. I like the song. I do think that she's taking her music into a certain direction. So I've always been a big fan, way before SMA. But I do think SMA kind of put her on a certain pedestal. And it's similar to... I think it was what Sizwe had said to us, Sizwe Alakine, what he had said to us on, I don't know whether it was Pop Radio or whether it was POPcast Goes To, where he said, you are maybe the most talented artist, but you don't work hard enough. And that's why sometimes artists don't really get their full potential. Rolene has got such a pure voice. She's got that thing where she can literally sing anything and she'll blow you away. And that's what I love so much about her. I've always been a fan. I really dig the song. I like the direction she's taking. I just want her team to work a little bit harder. Take her to the next level, especially after SMA. She should have.
That should have been the time she should have taken proper advantage. Have you had the chance to listen to the Rolene jam?
No, I haven't.
It's all right.
I haven't yet. But I will say that I like Cozzy. I really, really do enjoy her. I love her voice. I think she's very talented. But to add on to what Sizwe was saying, unfortunately with this industry, good team that works hard for you and you work hard with them is the only thing that's going to push you forward. You can be the most talented person and fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thing that we constantly do bring up here. Having the right people around you. And a lot of times you'll find that in artists, they share in their frustrations. They'll be like, I do want to do A, B, and C. I do want to be doing
But you must also push your team.
But sometimes, and sometimes you must change your team. Don't be scared to let people go. A lot of times you find that you're working with people. Sometimes it could be people that you came up with. It could be friends. It could be, you know what I'm saying? Like that manager, it could be someone that you loved, you grew up with, type of situation. Because when you start off, you surround yourself with people that you trust.
That you know,
people that you came, that you know from, who know you prior to the you being public. Sometimes some of those people just don't click. You know what I'm saying? Because you need someone who's connected. So if you have a manager who doesn't know people,
there's also that.
You know what I mean? How's your manager going to get you in the door when they're also trying to get into the door? You know what I mean? Like, you have to think about that. How am I going to pick up the phone and put you on to somebody to do your PR, somebody to do your marketing when they themselves need PR and marketing? You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very difficult when you're working with people who themselves are like, when I pick up the phone, people ask, who are you? And I have to introduce myself to people. And then I must introduce my artists.
But something needs to be said as well about the quality of managers we have in South Africa. It's not the best.
It's not the best, but we feel like there's people who are doing a little bit better. There are teams where sometimes you're like, let me just go to that team. And go see what they're doing. And tell them, I also want to rock this out.
There's nothing wrong. There is no shame in saying, look at what that team is doing. We're just going to replicate what they're doing there. and do it here.
Absolutely.
And that's
There's
it.
absolutely successful people have replicated what they see being done by other people.
Yes. There's no new idea happening in the creative
You
industry.
replicate that, you
just watch
amp it up.
and follow. Finish.
And you also feel like sometimes people mustn't be scared to the whole learning of how things work.
Yeah.
Must be open about it.
Yeah.
Must stand there and be like, I'm going to go to the shows today and just go speak to people.
Yeah.
And just introduce myself. People are scared to do the groundwork that doesn't make you look too shiny. Artists, you want to sit there and be a big guy. It's like, just go do the work. Just go stand and just go ask questions. Sometimes it's that simple. It's not everything you must Google, everything you must just, you must just go to the shows, introduce yourself, shake some hands, be like, meet Miss Cosmo and be like, hey, even if you annoy people, sometimes be outside and people must see your face and be like, okay, everywhere I go, I see this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everywhere I pop up, people at radio, these people who just pop up.
You
like,
just don't
I wanna
forget
see
them
you.
now.
Yeah, you don't forget them because they work hard. They may not know anyone, but at least they're trying to do something.
That is true.
If you're at home trying to say, let's just work on this music and then make a beautiful cover and then see what happens online. Immediately,
You're
I can
gonna
tell
reply
you,
in
the
our
problems will
tweets
be
with your
plenty.
song and we're just going to flip and walk past it.
Move on.
Absolutely. And somebody who hasn't been lazy, who has worked quite a lot and has used social media to her advantage is Poppy Cooper. And she's back now. I know she dropped a single a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but now
and
she dropped
then
an EP.
She's dropped an EP, Cooperville, which I believe has 8 or 9 tracks on it.
I think it's got about 9 songs.
About 9 songs on it. What do you think of the tracks so far?
I dig it. I also love that she's also showing different facets of herself. Because Poppy Cooper is also somebody who does so many things. Ngapha uya jiva, ngapha uya rapper, ngapha uya cula, ngapha. Do you know what I mean? So I like that she's showing different elements of herself. She's got a softer song like Mama, where she's featuring Yams and Kanyisile. But then she's also then got Vachapiki, where she's rapping a little bit more, which is a dope piano song as well. And then obviously then there's the other songs where she's showing her vocal ability a little bit more. So I like the how versatile the album is, and I also love how youthful it is as well. Because I mean, Poppy Cooper's 19, so she has to kind of show her age as well. So I see that in the graphics. I see the way that it's been put together. They've put a lot of work in the graphics. Shout outs to the graphics designer because you've been doing the things. Okay, socially, if you see her Instagram page, she's just beaming. So I like how the whole package kind of comes together. Cooperville's also really dope, you know. So. Big ups to her and her team, man.
Yeah, man. I do love how she moves. And one thing about what I'm hearing in the EP so far is how she's trying different sounds.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed that. You know, she wasn't scared to say, let me just stick to the piano dancing stuff that I've been popular for. Let me show a little bit of it, a little bit of the rapping on Baka Biggie, a little bit of my vocal ability. And also, because it's an EP, gauge people's interest and see which songs, when you're dropping the singles,
when you come
where
with the album,
each one can take you and say, maybe I should stick more here or stick more there. But if you want to play around and just have fun, sometimes it's okay to do that. Especially when the tracks individually, they sound pretty dope as well. You know what I'm saying? I don't think any of them sounds like disjointed. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying it. And yeah, shout out Poppy Cooper. Cooperville is out now.
Yeah,
she's
man.
very cool.
She is.
If at 19 you can do all the things that she's doing, she's had a very long career.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
I didn't even know she was 19.
Yo,
Very long career.
I really dig that. I like the fact that she's taking everything to the next level.
Yeah.
Man. Big ups to her.
Our boy Caesar Alakan also dropped Mang Kapamang.
Yes.
What do you think of the jam?
I dig it, man. You know, he's found a pocket that he's gonna sit in now, and that's kind of what he is honing for himself and what he wants people to know him for. It's his hood mentality that's coming through in this tune, and you can hear it's very like laid back, but it's also, you know, I am presenting myself as Sizo Alakan in this piano streets. I mean, it's very similar to like a Kanda Shisa type of vibe, but it's also got its own kind of flow. So shout outs, man. I think it's a nice one.
What do you think of Caesar Alakan?
I love it. I think, dude, get as crazy and as creative as you can as an artist. I think particularly as an artist that feels like you haven't been given a shot that you deserve. You have to, while you're still breathing, give it another shot and show people what they're missing out on. Because it's a very small pocket of people that have appreciated Caesar.
Yeah.
Or as Reason even. You know? And you sit there, I love him. I have literally every single album of his. And you're just like, why is everyone else not coming to the party? Because this is dope. And if people are not coming to the party with this one thing and you have a way to switch it up, please do.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah, man, he's been putting out some pretty dope jams, and you're right about the sound of this song, Manga Pamang, being similar to the other track that he has, Tukanda Shisa. But I like that he's sticking in his pocket. He's not being wildly aggressive as a piano artist. He's making the music that he's comfortable with.
He's a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, and he's playing it and he's seeing what people are vibing to and what his sound is, and he sounds very natural on it as well. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't sound like he's trying too hard or he's trying to out. You know what I'm saying?
It's also very nice. You hear him like in his, like what you're saying, his hood comfort.
Yeah.
Because Reason was like very cool and like English rapper. But like here, you hear him like differently, but you're like, damn, you're still dope like this. We almost missed out on even hearing you like this.
Yes, that's true. We did almost
missed out on hearing you like this.
Nah, I'm glad. And he's been very brave and he's spoken about, you know what, I'm actually going to do exactly what I want.
And he should.
Because regardless of what happens, people are going to talk.
Yeah.
They talk about me when I'm quiet, they say I'm too quiet. When I'm making this song, they say it's too this. When I do
when
that.
I have children, they talk about me. Everything.
You know what I mean? Everything is a conversation. So maybe let me just do what makes me happy.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm very comfortable in this type of scene. Like I'm giving you guys all the hip hop that you need.
Every artist needs to think of their artistry like that. If you have the space and I guess I'm missing a word for this, but if you have an ability to stretch whatever your artistry is and diversify and find other ways to release your artistry, whatever art kind of work you're doing, I think you have to do it.
Absolutely. And then finally, we have 25K. We have Slick with 25K and my Glitter Doughboy. We've been loving the singles, Stay Soft and everything. And now they've dropped the entire championship music part 2.
Yes.
They dropped part 1 during COVID. I believe it was 2020. So far, loving all the tracks on there, man. Championship music 2.
Hip
hop. 25K and my Glitter Doughboy, they sound like they were born in the same house. You know what I'm saying? They sound like siblings, like they're two different people, but with a very similar thing about them. You know what I'm saying? So it's really good the way that they marry each other in these tracks. And Slick seems to be a guy who properly understands them and know that the production that they need. And Slick is a very pedantic guy when it comes to production. You know, he really works on the sound. For example, he's released clips of Stay Soft. We've been making since like January when they were recording it, and he was refining it, and he was getting the right people on the track. So as a DJ and as a guy who's producing the track, he knows how to put a team of people together to create the sound that he wants, and I feel like it comes through in this album.
100%, man. Champion Music 2 out on Friday, and Slick was very particular by saying, guys, it's a collaborative album. It's not his album. So with Slick 25 and my Glitter Doughboy album featuring everybody else. So initially the first one was just the 3 of them. This one they said, you know what, we want to celebrate the rest of the champions who are in the hip hop game, and they, you know, they've got the likes of Blackie, they've got Mash Beats on a couple of beats as well, they've got MT, they've got Flo Jones Jr., they've got, where did they find Saudi?
Where did they find Saudi? This is the real question.
Where did they find Saudi? I'm so happy they found him. I'm so happy. I was actually speaking to Slick on the weekend, and he was, because I asked him the same thing. I was like, my brother, where did you find this guy? He goes, he found him at Konka. Because I think he was there, obviously, just like grooving, but then he bumped into Sjava. And Sjava was like, oh, what have you been looking for this guy? Nah, Ula. And he literally pulled him and he's like, here you go. Here's the guy. You've been wanting him for a song? Let's rock. I'm so glad that he's kind of coming back into the hip hop scene and making music again. Highlight features for me, MT definitely on Stay Soft, that's my favorite tune. Mash Beats with all of the instrumentation that he kind of brings in, the trumpet, the way he plays with it on so many of the songs, really loving it on Championship 2. I love it on everything as well as Stay Soft. Go Talk, one of my favorite songs as well, because I love how they're sparring and they're kind of going back to back. Each guy's got like their moment to shine. Zinga's also doing his thing on that tune. So very well put together, very awesome album. If you just want to trap it out, hip hop or dogo, that's the one to check out.
100%, absolutely loving the sound. And with that, we've come to the end of our show this week. Shout out to our guest, Mansui.
Thank you, guys.
No, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It was really
Where
fun.
can people catch you? What are you busy with right now?
You can catch me on the Metro FM.
Yes. And are you busy with anything else on yourself? Maybe podcasting, because I know there was something you were possibly
I spoke to you about it, so I'm trying to get into podcasting. We'll see. You guys are the whole team. Am I going to have to pay so many people?
Yes.
I'm just so shook. I got you and I was like, isn't there like one camera people and Cosmo? So I need to rethink this whole idea. But I really want to get into podcasting. Another thing is stretching my artistry. I talk, I interview, I conversate, and I can do more of that even outside of radio. So I'm trying to get into that space. Yeah, that's really what I want to do now.
Nice. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss Mansui.
Absolutely.
And of course to you for watching us as you do every single week. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Keep on joining us every single Tuesday. Join us on the space this Thursday, Prime Video ZA, 7
Yes,
p.m.
sir.
We'll just be unpacking the last episode, the finale of Rings of Power.
It's been 8 weeks. I can't imagine. Some people have been commenting, say, hey, you guys are pushing the show. Eh? In the comments, like, hey, we love you guys, but hey, you're talking about Rings of Power. Hey guys, we spoke about it, and shout out to guys who were engaging as well.
Yeah.
I know some people of our viewers do join the space, and a few of them have commented that they actually enjoyed the show as well. So shout out to Prime Video for showing us love, man, and allowing us the opportunity to deal or to chop the show up for the past 8 weeks.
Yes, indeed. And I guess you will catch us again next week, same time, same place, right here on the POPcast.
Dessert.